I'm gonna do like Bob. I'm gonna stop I'm gonna put on my video so I can say hello to everyone. And you feel free to put your video on and say hello, and if you want, and you just turn your video off. I'm pretty open. In fact, today's presentation, I'm gonna try to use the my image and then go back to the slides and see if it works, just to make it a little bit more interactive and entertaining and fun. Uh, and one of the things we're going to talk about today, and we'll get started in just one more minute, but I don't know if this works. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously we got to talk about a system, saving yourself time, energy, and money if you got a system with the straight line selling. So we'll get started in just a minute here. But beautiful weather in Chicago. If you go out for a walk in Illinois now, and I'm sure in a lot of other parts where we live, the colors are changing. It's beautiful. The weather is cooled down, so it's not hot and muggy, and you can really enjoy it. So going out for a walk and just having a great time. And if you got a dog owner like I am, well, you can find a good excuse just to get out of the house and walk around. So it's great.
Well, we've got snow.
Oh yeah?
Like crazy. Yeah, yesterday and last night. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, they're expecting that here in the Midwest next week, so it's going to get started. So
My son Ben is here from Houston, and took him deer hunting. He got a nice deer, and it's fun.
what an experience that gotta
Yeah,
be.
yeah, it's great.
That's great. All right, so we're at the top of the hour, so let's get started. My name is David Munoz, and I am a proud Synergy distributor. And today we're going to talk about something called straight line selling. And I believe whether you're a veteran into the Synergy business or whether you're just getting started as a new person and are looking to increase your sales skills, it's always good to refine our skills. Why? Because without good selling skills, you can still grow your Synergy business. But unless you've got the system, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to run into obstacles on the way, and your success curve, if we can call it that, is going to take a lot longer. So the purpose of these Saturday webinars, the excellent webinars that Judy and Bob bring on, Dan Hammer, and so many participants. We have guests sometimes on Mondays when Bob has his meeting with Dane. What we try to do is we try to empower all of the participants to gain their knowledge, and of course these particular ones on Saturdays to gain the skill sets. So straight line selling is something I learned about, and what I want to do today is just try to share with you so that we can have a better understanding of what sales is, improve our sales techniques so that when we go out in the field and talk to people, we can become more effective, save time, get in the right mindset to give you an advantage in the conversation or in the experience or in the interaction. Not an advantage to take advantage of anyone, rather an advantage in that you get your message across with a lot more ease and save you time. And how to get started. I want to share some tools that I've used and a lot of folks have recommended here on these webinars that will empower you and help you be more successful, again, to slow down the training curve. One of the first things we have to realize in whatever business we're in, but certainly we're in the Synergy business, you've got to love what you do. Not only do you have to love what you do, but you must be a product of the product. You have to use the Synergy products. What's the use of going out into the field and sharing an experience, a life-changing experience that you've had or that your family has had, without using the products yourself, right? You have to use it and have to have had experience, transformation in your own life to be able to share it. And the people should see through you. They will see through you, whether you're sincere or not. So step one, please, if you're going to represent Synergy, you got to be a product of the product. and have fun with it. What I do, if you haven't toured the Synergy offices, the new offices, maybe at some point in time when there's an opportunity after this whole COVID thing is over, we can do it. But I have fun. Sometimes I'm on the radio, and I've had fun with that, sharing with the Hispanic community the power of nitric oxide. And of course, some people commented in this little picture I have where, it's Halloween. So this happened one time when I was visiting the bank. They just happened to have that skeleton. I ran to my car, got my empty jumbo jar of Porogenine Plus, and just took a picture. And it's about 3 years old, and I have fun with it every Halloween. And more, of course, when you go to the movies, there's this movie showing with the chipmunks. I say, hey, there's another idea. And so I take a picture with the chipmunks, and have fun with that. But the personal side is more important for me. What it has done for me personally, it has controlled my blood pressure. I've had a history of diabetes in my family, and everyone told me whether I'm going to get it or not. And of course, I'm turning 68 this year, or I did, and I still no meds, blood pressure under control, and God is good. So, that's your personal testimonial. And of course, the life-changing impact you have with people you come across with. So just think of the impact you could have if you can help someone transform their life just by sharing something you already know. That is fun. Not only is fun, but it's very gratifying. So I just want to applaud everyone that's in these webinars and come every Saturday in the webinars to refine their skills. This is what it's all about. So again, we must be a product of the product. Now, when people get started in sales, it can be a little bit more challenging because when you get started, like I remember when I first discovered Synergy, I would approach someone. I say, "Wow, I'm using a product and it's really helped me. In fact, it's really transformed in my family." And just wait until you hear about it. And the guys look at me and say, "What is wrong with this person?" Of course, I realize it now. I didn't realize it then. And what they want to do a lot of times is get away from you because you haven't started the conversation in the right way. So let's talk about straight line selling. Before I get started, straight line selling is a creator. It's not my creation. It's the creation of a guy named Jordan Belfort. Jordan was a very, very successful Wall Street finance person. He sold stocks and bonds, and a movie was made of him, portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio. Jordan Belfort when he started off, he was a millionaire by the time he was 22. He just was very successful, and unfortunately, when he was that young with that much money, he made a lot of mistakes, got in a lot of trouble, lost his marriage, and wound up in jail. And if you know his story, he said in jail, all I wanted to do while I was thinking in jail was prove to my children that I could still make it without breaking the law, that I could still make it in life and make money without causing harm to anyone. Now, his securities license was suspended. He could no longer be in the securities business, but he is now an author, and he is also a motivator and a sales trainer. And the straight line system selling is something that he teaches very successfully, and I'm going to try to at least share it with you. It's a lot more detailed than this presentation, but we can probably readdress it in later presentations. So when you start in selling, one of the things you learn is that one of the first things you have to learn is what Warren Buffett answered to a college student who was asking him, what would be your advice now that I've gotten out of college, I'm going into this world, and I want to do security, I want to do investor just like you, Mr. Buffett. What should I do? And his advice, you'd think he'd say, well, go into options or go into the penny stocks, get involved in the startup companies. No, his advice to that one student is take a course in effective communication skills. So in other words, learn how to talk, learn how to sell, learn how to present yourself. That will give you the leverage, the angle you need to become more effective as you go into the world. So this is something that I learned, and I'll share it in a later slide of what you can do to help you in your synergy business. When you get started, this is me when I first got started, and maybe a lot of you can share it, okay? It's a cute little video. You go out there, you're really motivated and excited, you're feeling good because your health has come back, and you're saying, okay, I'm ready to go, guys. Watch me fly. That's what happens. So, but okay, you did it. Oh, and you got to get up and you got to try again. You just can't okay, you almost got your first sale there, but there you go again. And it has a lot to do with the inability to sell. Okay? That's why I think Warren Buffett's advice is good. Again, if you're new to Synergy, or if you feel your skill sets are rusty, last week Dan Hammer gave a fantastic presentation on getting started. And he went over 6 steps that we must do to get started. And that's a great place. As you maybe are learning how to sell, learn the basics about your Synergy, business. So everyone wants to mute themselves. That way we don't have the background noise. So getting started is really important. If you haven't visited our Synergy family and taken advantage of this wonderful presentation that Dan has put together, please do it. It's well worth your time. So let's start. It's what is selling? What is selling? If you look in Google it, or maybe in the dictionary, you'll find that they say selling is a transaction in which money is exchanged for a good or service. During the sales negotiation, the seller attempts to convince or sell the buyer on the benefits of their offer. And you know what this definition reminds me of? It reminds me of the first time I was like 22, 23 years old, and I went in to buy a car. And the salesman came up and he says, hell yeah, give me your license and your keys. We just got to verify something and I'll be right back. It took forever for me to get my license and key back, until I kind of had to almost let them sell me a car to get my license and my key back. So they're trying to use tactics, or they're trying to convince me to sell. Well, I definitely don't like this definition. The definition I'd rather is this: selling is the transfer of emotion. If you go to a good restaurant, if you see a great movie, if you have a great experience at a hotel, let's say, you are emotional, you are happy with it. They'll ask you for a review, and of course you are transferring your emotions through the review that you give them. On the other hand, if it's negative, obviously there will be no emotion. The most important transfer of emotion that you can have is the transfer of certainty. In the straight line system, when you start talking to a person, that person is maybe at a grade 1 versus a 10, where they're totally emotional and certainty. When you share your experience with a person, your objective, hopefully, will be to get them to the point where they are absolutely certain of what you're talking about. And through your personal experience and emotion, they are convinced that what you're telling them is true. This is what usually happens. Okay, so when you approach a person, let me back up. When you approach a person, you don't know where that person's level of emotion is. We really don't know. So what we do know, however, is where our level of emotion should be before we talk to an individual, or whether we have the opportunity to share what we know. So a lot of times it starts right here, where it's number one, when you first are speaking with someone, whether that person was referred to you, whether that person is someone you're just having a casual conversation and a networking event, whether a person is someone who shared with you, I'm going through really a hard time, I'm taking so many meds. This is where you start. Now, during the course of the conversation, our objective is to try to stay in control of the conversation in a very uh, in a non-threatening way, without bending the twisting, but certainly keep it on topic so where you can get to help them. But what usually happens is we get off the straight line system and we wind up talking about politics, that horrible debate. We talk about COVID. We talk about a lot of things that are not relevant to really addressing what I call is a problem that they have. We are kind of like hopefully offering a viable solution to a problem. The other thing that could happen is when we let them take control, is that we are beginning to do like I did at the beginning, where I went all the way below and I started taking complete control and didn't listen, wasn't paying attention to their thoughts. And instead of Pluto, we wind up in Uranus, which is a terrible place to be. So our objective is to go back to the straight line, get them back on course and to the point of certainty. In order to be successful in doing that, it takes a few steps. One of them is, I hate to say this, we've got to get our mistakes out of the way as soon as possible. The best way to get your mistakes and not get hit by that kid, like that kid getting hit and knocked down, because if you get hit and knocked down enough times, you're going to quit. That's a real big problem with multi-level marketing companies. You're defeated so much you quit. Is that if you have an opportunity to refine your skill sets ahead of time and learn how to do it through your mentor or or in combination with the resources we have, then we become more successful. So Alexander Graham Bell, did you know he failed 1,000 times before he invented the telephone? But he knew that the key to success was the preparation. So as he tried and tried and tried, he knew he couldn't make the same mistakes again, or tried not to, and he prepared himself until he was successful. To be successful, I want to use this acronym. This is the acronym not invented by me. Jordan Belfort is the inventor of this acronym, but you have to be able to see when using the straight line. And these are his words. He said, first of all, when you first go into a conversation with a person, you must be as sharp as a tack. That means when you come in, you know what you're talking about, you know the topic at hand. They see that you are confident in the topic, especially if they share with you some sickness that they have. You're going to be sharp because you know either you've had it, you've had experience with people that have had it, you have read material regarding it, so they know you're sharp. The first few words you say, they can tell. Next, you have to be, I say excited as heaven, but he used excited as hell, meaning that, and I'm not saying going to say, wow, well, stop right here because you're going to try, you got to hear what I'm going to say. No. It's almost like an excitement that's underneath the radar. They see it in you, but it's a controlled excitement. I tell my clients, and I look at them in the eye and I say, Mr. Client, if you follow the instructions I'm going to give you, I will guarantee you that you will have positive results with your cardiovascular health. And I say that with absolute confidence. I say, in fact, we have a money-back guarantee for 120 days. Does that sound like something you might be interested in? I'm excited. I can't wait for them to have in fact, I got a call last week, just segueing a little bit. Isn't it exciting when you get a call from a customer and they say, I went to my doctor and my results were totally different than I expected? It's working, they say. And I look at them and I say, I knew it would, right? That's emotion, that's excitement. The third step of the C is you have to be an expert in your field, and that's why you're here this morning. That's why you come every Saturday, because we all are looking to become, I don't think we'll ever become experts at a high level, but we certainly should try to be an expert in whatever marketing strategy we choose, weight management, nitric oxide therapy, immune health, whatever it might be, try to become an expert in that field so we can talk about it and people can refer us. So my question is, where are you in your synergy journey? Where am I in my synergy journey? So let's talk over a little bit of the tools we have or the things that I would recommend that if you are not at where you want to be in your synergy journey, or you don't feel as confident, or maybe your sale, your synergy business is not growing as much as you'd like to see it grow, allow me to share some of the things that I've used and of course I continue to use and I have to go back to if I ever slip on my synergy business and I see it suffering. Well, first of all, do I still have the passion? Am I still feeling the same why I felt when I first started my synergy business? Do I still want to reach those goals that I want to reach financially, health-wise, sharing the product? Another thing, did I go and back and use our Synergy Family's tools? Do I need to get a refresher course there? And again, I'm just like you. I make mistakes. I have to fine tune myself. We all have to do it. So this is just another resource that I'm sharing with you that we can help ourselves. Now, there's a lot of great videos in YouTube that talk about how to improve your communication skills or courses that you can take. Your vocabulary skills are very important that you could take. Sometimes I'm talking with Dan, I say, Dan, I can't even pronounce that in English. How am I going to translate it to Spanish? But those are things I have to go back. How do you pronounce it? How do you say it? Another thing we might use is Toastmasters. Judy, thank you. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, she had mentioned in a conversation, step 6, that we were training, David, have you ever tried Toastmasters? Well, I did. And I actually did very well in Toastmasters. And to this day, I still maintain some of those skill sets, and people notice. And it was great. So Toastmasters is now online. In other words, they have virtual Toastmasters. It's kind of difficult in the days we're living these days to participate in Toastmasters, but you can still join Toastmasters virtually and participate and improve your communication skills. It's quite cost effective and it will pay dividends. There are speakers out there that I listen to in addition to Jordan Belfort. There's Anthony Robbins, there's Les Brown, there's several speakers who talk, and I'm guilty of plagiarizing, and I do it proudly. Why? Because they plagiarized it from someone else, probably. But the idea is to get whatever's good out of it and apply it to your business toolbox and use it yourself to be able to help others. Help others. As you help others, you will improve your own synergy business. Okay, very important. And finally, what I did is I looked through my books and I dusted off some of the books I had. One of them is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There's several courses several books that I have that we've shared in these platforms that you can go back and review, because it's impossible for us to remember everything. And all these steps combined can help us. Now, a lot of times I'll be asked, Dave, how can you expect me to go out there and sell and everything when we are in this environment now that we can't even go out? How do I grow my business when we can't even, we can't approach anyone? And of course, if we do, they have masks on. Well, the first thing I'll say is this has not come to stay. It has come to pass, okay? So you know that whatever you do today are nothing more than seeds you are planting in yourself and for yourself, so that when this does pass, you will be so much better and go out there, okay? And the second thing I'll say is that you need to be able to have confidence in yourself as you learn, and use the resources you have in your mentors and the tools we have to be able to be ready when you go out there to be able to get the kind of results that you're expecting, you're looking for. So this is really, really important. So I'm going to wrap it up because we're trying to keep it to the half hour, but Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison of what lies inside you." We've seen this quote before. We've probably used it before. What does it mean? To me, it means that whatever path I've taken up to this date, in fall that we're in now, whatever has passed behind me is gone. There's nothing I can do to change it. There's nothing I can do to modify it. It's gone. Now, what lies before us, we can control, but it all is dependent on what lies within us. That's critical that we are able to take all the resources and start charging that internal battery, that internal energy force, and it will pale in comparison of what lies before us, pales to what has been behind us. So forget what's behind, let's start fresh, and let's start new. So again, you can be a synergy. This is another picture I've had, and it's wonderful because you can be a superstar in your own business, your own synergy business, when you're sharp as a tack, excited as hell, and an expert in your field. You'll be able to transfer their emotion and the straight line system and achieve certainty. In another straight line, let's say webinar that I'll share with you, we'll talk a little bit more how to use a straight line to be able to go into the different steps of the straight line, how to approach objections, how to overcome objections, how to transfer energy, and how to form a little bit more strategy. But certainly this is a general overview of the straight line system, and I hope you've enjoyed it. What I'm going to do is stop the share a moment and just talk to you and address any questions you might have. And of course, I always say, as I did in my corporate world, please, any questions, complaints, or criticisms are welcomed. So please unmute yourself and let me know what you think.
Hey, Timothy here.
Hey, Timothy.
This was good. I like it.
Great, great. Well, do you think you could apply some of those ideas to your business?
Yes, I love synergy products. I tell people all the time, if you don't use the product, you cannot sell it.
Correct.
Look a client in the eyes and says, yes, I use the product.
Absolutely.
The product. And any one of the Barbados group that come in my office to see all of my empty boxes. I say it anymore, but from 16 to 17 and part of 18, everything that I use from Synergy, I save the container and have a whole wall, not a whole wall, a part of a wall as empties. I use those.
Right.
Like, you look at me with both eyes. You use all of those? Yes. I went 36 ways down now, and Dan may be surprised. I've gone past 34 Dan and 33. I may hit 32 by December. I've lost inches off of my race.
Great. Take a picture of before and after, or take a picture now before and after, and post it in a social media and say, look what's happened to me. Without boasting too much, is just say, I found a secret on weight loss, and promote yourself.
I took pictures and the photographer lose them. So the big part is gone. I could only show the small part and maybe a big pants.
Well, do me a favor and share it with us. Well, next time you're on the webinar, you might ask Dan to maybe share your screen or send it to him by text or something so he could let us see. That'd be fun.
But I know that Dan saw the first half in Utah, but the second half he hasn't seen yet.
Okay, well, we'll be looking forward to that.
Thank you. I love Synergy. I love the product. That is a big one. You suggesting that Toastmasters Club are online, you could have an online Toastmasters Club?
Yes, if you go to Toastmasters.com, they now have online classes. or I shouldn't say online meetings, I should say. And Toastmasters is an environment where professionals get together and non-professionals. They get together in a very non-judgmental environment, and they give you an opportunity to give a short speech, a 3-minute speech, and they give you constructive criticisms. So if you're looking at me now, if I stand up and I'm talking and I'm moving around, they'll say, David, you did great. They'll give you the positive, and they'll say, next time, if you would, just try to stand, keep your feet together and motion with your hands and try to bring your point across. Because when you move and you're nervous, that's a nervous energy, right? So that's what Toastmasters is all about. They give you communication techniques, how to present yourself. And that carries over in regular conversations.
And I've made my last note. I'm a past chairman of Bristol Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm.
Toastmaster that ever finished the book in Barbados. So I know about Toastmasters, but I didn't know it was online. Now I could hook back up again.
Check it out. It's fun. You're welcome. Does someone else have anything they wanted to add to this morning's webinar?
Hey, David, it's Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Hey.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. I just love this. I have not heard of straight line selling before, but it's such a simple thing. And one of my favorite parts, I mean, I'm always excited. That's never a challenge for me. But being sharp as a tack, to me, is so important to continually learn. And of course, Bob and I do our motivational training once a month. But I was so blessed yesterday to actually hear from Bob Proctor. So I'm in a private group and he's a member.
Wow.
And he actually spoke for 90 minutes.
Wow.
All about shifting your paradigm. And to me, it was just such opened my mind. What is my paradigm? What are my beliefs? And how do I change my beliefs so that I can change my outcome? Just so great.
That is key, Judy, what you just said, because we have a belief system that's been ingrained in us since childhood. And a lot of people keep that weight. They carry that weight with them. And you have to be able to change your belief systems and believe, just shift it. A little shift can change the outcome. So you've said it perfectly. And so thank you for sharing that. That's pretty cool.
You're welcome. Thank you for this. It's great.
Great. And hey,
thanks,
Bob.
you guys. Yeah, Judy, thank you very much. You look sharp this morning, Judy. Way to go. It's
Thanks,
great.
Bob.
But thank you,
Great.
David. I've got a whole page of notes here. I really appreciated it. And
Great. Well
done.
But when we go out to the field, what I've learned, and I try to get better at it because I do stumble a lot still, but it's all a matter of getting better, is and I want to share this earlier, but you got to have this system. You got to have a system, because when you have a system, your probabilities of success increase dramatically. If you go out and talk to someone and you don't know what you're going to say or how to follow it, and it's not going to be perfect every time, but if you have an idea of the pattern of the conversation that you want to share with them, and if they tell you something, you have a good idea of what you're going to say in return, then you're more in control, and your outcome, the probabilities of your outcome will be so much better. So that's what these webinars are about. Getting yourself a system so to increase your probabilities of success.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Okay.
it. Judy, you and I will be talking next Saturday, huh?
Yep, next Saturday is, what's your topic going to be?
Well, it's Simon Sinek again. We're just moving forward in the book, so.
Awesome, great.
It's gonna be good.
Well, I want to thank everyone who was on this morning's webinar. I want to thank especially Ted Spicer. He's a good friend of mine that I invited him to join us. And also, if you're new, please, we're welcome in the future. And if you are a veteran, as I am, please invite others and have them join us on Saturdays. And we also have great meetings on Monday mornings at 8:30. So anyone else with final comments before we say goodbye for today? Fantastic. So listen, thank you so much for joining this morning's webinar. Get your sharpen your saw, get your tools ready, go out there and be successful. So thank you and be blessed.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you,
Wonderful day,
guys.
everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.